All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time we're hitting the electric vehicle market, comparing two big players, Tesla and Lucid Motors. Using their Wikipedia pages, let's see what we can find. It's wild how both these companies are electrifying the auto industry, but in totally different lanes.
Totally agree. While sales numbers tell a part of the story, this deep dive goes way beyond just that. We're going to dig into each company's DNA, how they started, their tech, and even how they navigate the whole EV world.
Okay, love it. Let's start with those origin stories then. Tesla, kicking things off in 2003 as Tesla Motors, a nod to the genius, Nikola Tesla, of course. And then Elon Musk joins the party in 2004. And on the other side, we've got Lucid, founded in 2007. They were all about battery tech initially before they jumped into actually making the cars.
Yeah, the contrast in their starting points is super interesting. Tesla was like this disruptor, shaking things up, coming in with that electric first mentality. Lucid, though, they built on what was already out there in EV tech and decided to go after that luxury market.
So Tesla was the rebel, and Lucid was more like the strategic innovator.
Exactly. And you can see that difference in their early production stuff, too. Tesla's first car, the 2008 Roadster, which isn't around anymore, sadly, but that paved the way for their current lineup. The Model S, the Model X, the 3, and the Y, plus the Semi and that Cybertruck. Oh, and we can't forget, the Model 3 was the first EV to sell 1 million units worldwide back in June 2021.
Wow, 1 million. That must have been a real wake-up call for the whole industry.
For sure. And then in 2023, the Model Y was actually the best-selling vehicle globally, any type of car. That shows how Tesla can really tap into a wider market, appealing to all sorts of buyers.
Seems like Tesla really knows how to get people excited about electric cars. How about Lucid, though? They took a different path, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Lucid's laser-focused on luxury, and you see that in their main car, the Lucid Air sedan. It's got this reputation for crazy range and cutting-edge tech. In fact, back in 2021, the Dream Edition of the Air, it set a record for the longest range of any EV that the EPA had ever rated, 520 miles on one charge.
520 miles. That's insane. It's like driving from New York City all the way to Cincinnati on a single charge. How'd they manage that?
It's a bunch of things working together. Lucid really obsessed over making the Air super aerodynamic to cut down on drag. That makes a huge difference in how far you can go on a charge. Plus, they have a super efficient electric powertrain, and obviously they packed in a big battery with a high energy density.
So basically, they were super strategic about the design and engineering, making sure they got every last mile out of that battery.
Absolutely. That kind of focus on efficiency is crucial for anyone making EVs, but it's even more important for a luxury brand like Lucid. Those buyers are used to taking long drives without stopping all the time.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about charging. Tesla, everyone knows them for their supercharger network. It's their own system, and it offers that DC fast charging. They've also got destination chargers. Those are slower, and usually at places they partner with. It's like they're building a whole world around charging, right?
Yeah, for sure. Tesla's been all about controlling that whole charging experience, making it as smooth as possible. They want their customers to have a really reliable, hassle-free experience, and that supercharger network's been a huge selling point.
It's like, think about Apple and how they make their own devices and software. It's all connected. Tesla's kind of doing the same thing, but with their cars and charging.
Yeah, good comparison.
Yeah.
Lucid went a different route, though. They have this thing called range exchange, and it actually lets the Lucid Air charge other EVs directly. Pretty unique feature, right? Shows how they're all about being compatible with other cars. They're working on their own home charging station, too, so giving customers even more options.
So it's like Tesla's building a wall around its garden, but Lucid's planting seeds everywhere.
Uh-huh. You could put it that way. But things took a big turn in early 2024. By February, most North American EV companies, even Lucid, said they were going to switch over to using Tesla's North American Charging Standard, NACS, by 2025. That really changed the game for Tesla. Their charging tech basically became this steady source of income.
Wow, so it's like the whole industry decided to start speaking Tesla's language when it comes to charging. Must have been a huge win for them.
Oh, absolutely. It really solidified how strong they are in the North American EV market.
Okay, let's talk about the tech at the heart of it all. Batteries. Tesla's been on quite the journey, starting with those 18650 cells, then going to 2170, and now they're developing the 4680 cells to get even more energy density.
And it's important to understand what those numbers actually mean. They're about the size of the battery cells. Like a 2170 cell is 21 millimeters across and 70 millimeters long. Bigger cells mean you can store more energy, but it also makes the engineering way more challenging. Tesla's really pushing limits here, and you can see that in how much their battery packs cost.
Oh, you mean that estimate from Bloomberg NEF back in 2021? They said Tesla's battery pack was costing them like $112 per kilowatt hour, way less than the industry average of $132 per kilowatt hour. That's a huge advantage.
Huge. It shows how Tesla's constantly innovating to make EVs cheaper. They're not just about making fancy, powerful cars. They're trying to make them affordable for everyone.
So what about Lucid? What's their battery game like?
At first, Lucid was using battery packs from Samsung SDI for the Air. But then they switched to making their own packs in-house. Shows they want more control over their tech and their supply chain.
So both companies are really pushing boundaries with battery tech, just in different ways.
For sure. And that's just one part of this whole EV battle that's so interesting. It's not just about making the fastest or fanciest car. It's about mastering that whole battery world and making a business that's sustainable and can actually grow.
This is getting really good. Okay, let's take a look at their money situation. I remember reading that in 2020, Tesla was worth more on the market than most other car companies combined. By 2021, they were a $1 trillion company.
Tesla's financial success, it's really something else. No one's ever seen anything like it in the car world. I think it shows how they got a head start in the EV market. People really know their brand. And of course, Elon Musk just knows how to get attention and investors.
But how's Lucid doing financially?
Their market cap is way smaller than Tesla's. They've gotten a ton of support from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, PIF. That's been a huge help for them to grow.
Classic story. The giant and the up-and-comer. How much money they have really shapes their strategies and how much risk they can take.
Totally. Tesla can go big and experiment more, while Lucid has to be more careful and strategic with what they spend.
Okay, this is getting really interesting. But we got to talk about the controversies too, especially around Tesla. What do you make of all that?
Oh, yeah. Tesla's had its share of controversy for sure. They've had lawsuits, people questioning how safe their autopilot system is. And then there's Elon Musk, always saying something that gets people talking. They've had delays in production, issues with the right to repair, even some environmental stuff they've been called out for. Seems like they're always in the news for something.
Yeah, it does feel like Tesla's always walking this line between innovation and controversy. What do you think has been the biggest issue they've faced so far?
I think the concerns around their autopilot system definitely deserve a closer look. I mean, there have been a lot of reports about accidents, even some fatal ones, with cars using autopilot. Makes you wonder how safe and reliable it really is.
Right. It makes sense that a system that claims to be able to drive itself would get a lot of attention, both good and bad. Has anyone officially responded to these safety concerns?
Yeah, the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they've been investigating these incidents. Actually, at the end of 2023, Tesla had to recall almost all the cars they'd sold in the U.S. It was all about fixing this system that was supposed to make sure drivers were paying attention when they had autopilot on.
Wow, that's a huge recall. You have to wonder if the tech is even ready to be used by everyone yet.
And didn't Elon Musk himself say some pretty bold things about autopilot being able to drive itself one day?
Oh, he did, and that's what sparks so much debate. People say he's setting unrealistic expectations and that drivers might start relying too much on a system that can't actually handle driving on its own yet. Even some of Tesla's own engineers have said that Musk's timelines for fully autonomous driving are too ambitious.
So it's like this push and pull between pushing technology as far as can go and making sure drivers and passengers are safe. Have all these controversies affected how well Tesla's cars sell or how people see the brand? It's interesting because even with all this stuff going on, Tesla's still super popular and people keep buying their cars. Their brand loyalty is crazy strong. People seem willing to overlook these controversies because they believe in what Tesla's trying to do, their whole vision for the future of transportation.
It's like they've built this brand that's so powerful it can handle a few bumps in the road. But do you think this level of scrutiny and controversy is sustainable in the long run?
That's a good question. I think it depends on whether Tesla actually addresses these issues and how honest they are with people about what their technology can and can't do.
Being honest is key. And hasn't Tesla also been criticized for not being transparent enough about data privacy?
Yeah, there's been some worry about how much data Tesla's cars are collecting and what they're doing with it. It's a valid concern, especially now when data privacy is such a big deal.
I get why people would be worried about that. It's one thing to collect data to make the cars safer and perform better, but it's another thing entirely if that data is being used for something else without the driver knowing or giving permission.
I mean, to be fair, Tesla has responded to some of this by saying that they're committed to keeping data secure and that the data they collect is mostly used to improve the safety and performance of their vehicles.
Okay, that makes sense. But there's also this whole right to repair movement that's getting bigger, having independent repair shops. And even some Tesla owners said it's too hard and expensive to fix Tesla cars anywhere but at official Tesla service centers.
Definitely. And this isn't just a Tesla thing. It's a bigger question about consumer choice, fair competition, and how limiting repair options can hurt the environment.
Yeah, it's complicated, with good arguments on both sides. So Tesla might be a leader in the EV market, but they've got their fair share of challenges and controversies. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with all this in the years to come.
Absolutely. Now, how about we shift gears and look at Lucid Motors? Let's see what kind of roadblocks they've hit trying to become a big player in the luxury EV world.
Sounds good. Unlike Tesla, which felt like it came out of nowhere, Lucid has been more, I don't know, deliberate, focusing on that high-end luxury EV segment. But I'm sure it hasn't been all smooth sailing. What have been some of their biggest hurdles?
For any new car company, especially one making EVs, production is a huge hurdle. Getting manufacturing up and running to meet demand is tough, and Lucid has had their fair share of delays and setbacks.
Yeah, I can see that. Having a great design and cool tech is one thing, but actually making a ton of cars without messing up the quality or efficiency, that's a whole different ballgame.
You got it. And on top of production headaches, Lucid's had to deal with supply chain problems too, which have been a mess for the entire car industry the past few years. These disruptions have made it even harder for Lucid to get their cars built and into the hands of people who want them.
It just goes to show that even the most innovative companies can be affected by things outside of their control. And haven't they also been up against tough competition from some of the bigger, more established names in the luxury car world?
Of course. Lucid's jumping into a market that's ruled by companies like Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, and they're all investing a ton in their own luxury EVs.
It's like David and Goliath, right? How's Lucid trying to stand out and get the attention of those luxury car buyers who might be more drawn to those traditional brands?
Seems like their strategy is to really push the limits of technology, especially when it comes to range and performance. Remember that crazy 520-mile range on the Lucid Air we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Hard to forget that. That kind of range is almost unheard of for EVs. It must have been a real statement to the competition, showing that Lucid is a serious contender.
No doubt. They've also been focusing on developing really advanced battery tech and packing their cars with luxury features and design elements to attract those buyers who want the best of the best.
So it's like they're combining high-tech innovation with luxury and style to make something truly unique. But even with a great product, I bet breaking into the luxury market takes more than just impressive specs and features. It's about creating a brand that really speaks to a certain kind of customer.
You're exactly right. Building that image of exclusivity and desire that appeals to luxury buyers takes time, smart marketing, and a little bit of luck. Lucid's success is going to depend on whether they can do that while also proving that they can deliver on their promises of performance and reliability.
Sounds like they've got a tough road ahead, but they also seem to have a clear vision and a dedication to innovation that could really set them apart.
I agree. And as we finish up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to remember that both Tesla and Lucid, even though they're taking different paths and facing different challenges, are both playing a huge role in shaping what the car industry will look like in the future.
That's a really good point. They're both pushing the limits of what electric vehicles can do and leading the way toward a more sustainable future. But their stories also show how complicated and challenging it is to shake up an industry that's been around for so long.
Yeah, for sure. And as we move forward, I think it'll be fascinating to see how they continue to change and adapt as the electric vehicle market keeps evolving.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing to think about how both Tesla and Lucid, even with their different approaches and all the obstacles they've faced, are really pushing the auto industry toward an electric future. It just goes to show how powerful innovation can be and how it can come from all different angles.
It's a really exciting time to be seeing this transformation firsthand. This rise of electric vehicles, it's not just about technology changing, it's changing how we think about transportation and our impact on the environment.
And speaking of things changing, what do you think the future holds for Tesla and Lucid? Are they going to keep going on the same path, or are we going to see some surprises?
Well, predicting the future is always a tricky business, especially in a field like the auto industry, where things are changing so fast. But one thing's for sure, the competition between Tesla and Lucid is only going to heat up. As the EV market grows and matures, they're both going to have to be quick on their feet and keep innovating if they want to stay ahead of the game.
It's like a high-stakes chess match, right? Each company trying to figure out the other's next move and outsmart them to get the most market share and become the leader in technology.
Exactly. And it's not just a two-player game anymore. All those traditional car companies are pouring money into their own electric vehicles, and new startups are popping up all the time, all wanting a piece of that EV pie.
It reminds you that the auto industry is really in a state of change. The old guard is facing challenges from these new disruptors who aren't weighed down by old systems and ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's getting more crowded and competitive in the EV market all the time. That's probably going to lead to even more innovation as companies try to stand out, whether that's through better batteries, longer range, more autonomous features, or even just unique designs and ways to use the car.
I love thinking about how all this competition is going to push things forward and lead to some amazing new things for electric vehicles. So, what do you think will be the most important things for companies to succeed in this evolving EV world?
A few things come to mind. The most important thing, without a doubt, is mastering battery technology. The company that can make the most efficient, affordable, and sustainable batteries will have a huge edge.
It's like the battery is the heart of an electric car. Whoever controls the heart controls the whole body.
I like that analogy. And beyond batteries, building a solid charging infrastructure is going to be crucial. People need to know they can easily charge their EVs wherever they go, at home, at work, or on those long road trips.
It's that chicken or the egg problem, right? People won't buy EVs if there aren't enough places to charge them, but companies won't build those charging stations if there aren't enough EVs on the road.
Yep, that's it. Getting past that's going to take teamwork, car companies, governments, and energy providers all working together. And then there's the software side of things. As cars become more connected and start driving themselves, making really advanced software for things like navigation, safety, and entertainment is going to become even more important.
It's like cars are turning into smartphones on wheels. The software is becoming a huge part of the whole experience.
Totally. And we can't forget about building a strong brand and how people see the company. In a market that's so crowded, companies need to create brands that people connect with and trust.
Yeah, you have to go beyond just the technical stuff and appeal to people's emotions and what they want in life. People choose brands that fit their values and how they live.
Well said. So the future of the EV market is full of possibilities, but also some potential bumps along the way. It's going to be fascinating to see how Tesla, Lucid, and everyone else in the industry navigate this whole new world.
This has been an awesome deep dive into the world of electric vehicles. We've covered a lot from where Tesla and Lucid came from to all the details of battery technology and how tricky it is to build a business in this rapidly changing market that's both sustainable and can actually grow.
We've talked about how they do things differently, their successes, their controversies, and what might determine their future. It's a complex and constantly shifting landscape, but one thing's for sure. The future of transportation is electric.
And that's a wrap for our deep dive into the EV showdown between Tesla and Lucid. We hope you learned a thing or two about these two amazing companies and the bigger forces shaping the future of how we get around. It's clear that there are a lot of challenges and opportunities ahead. We can't wait to see what the future holds for Tesla, Lucid, and the whole EV industry.
And for our listeners, remember, this is just the beginning. There's so much more out there to learn. Keep researching, keep learning, and keep an eye on the road ahead because the future of transportation is happening right now.